We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you some breaking news. There's been reports all over the area of something crazy going on, something big. People's homes, their minds even, are being taken over by something called, what is it they're calling it? They're calling it Bad Movie Debate.
What up, nerds? It's me, Jacob Babb from Bad Movie Debate, here to talk about Mission Impossible 8. We did it. Eight. We did it. We did it.
We did it, guys.
We did it. We did it. We're back.
Exactly.
It's been 3 hours.
That's crazy,
since
dude.
we recorded the first one. These are going to come out on separate days.
Yeah,
so
that way it looks like we did it. But actually, I brought an extra shirt so that way I can change.
You know, I thought about that. I told Austin, I was like, maybe we should change and pretend like we spread it out. But that's not what happened.
Exactly.
So
I literally just forgot about it on the way from the car.
Yeah, and I just was like, fuck it. Like, it doesn't even matter. So here we are. It's been a Mission Impossible heavy day, and that's great. Okay, so the final reckoning, which they said at least 8 times.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe a little less.
Well, no, I think they said reckoning a fucking lot.
They said reckoning a lot, and then at least final reckoning 2 or 3 times as well. So they did a lot. They did the most.
They did a lot.
They did a lot with it. Oh yeah. So let's see. So the current
ratings. Let's do ratings first. And then we can
you want to do the rating on it?
Let's do ratings, and then we can kind of go back into it. It's a little bit different because this was just so recent.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. All right, here we go. So ratings right now for Rotten Tomatoes. Only going to do Rotten Tomatoes because I already saw the 7.5 at IMDb, which is where they always are.
Yeah.
Every movie ever, even if it's good or bad.
Until, you at least have a little bit of time to digest it.
Yeah. So 80% on the tomato meter, certified fresh by the critics.
That's pretty good.
Makes sense. 89% on the popcorn meter, verified hot, which is a new thing I guess they're doing. So yeah, people are loving it across the board, which I'm not surprised that it's getting those kind of reviews. It makes complete and total sense.
It fits into like the Mission Impossible movies. Like very much so, where you're very entertained on a lot of parts of it. It's not very. I say this one's probably like the least plot-driven one. I will say. Yeah. I would say there was a lot more. There was just
like, well, let me say this real quick. As of right now, it's made $239 million. So, and it was at $300 million budget. So it's gonna make its money back in the next week or two, and then start actually making profit.
So probably when this weekend's box office comes out.
Yeah, it is Sunday. So yeah, once this weekend box office hits, it's probably going to be making money, and it's just going to keep going up from there. Again, though, the Fallout at almost at 791 million, almost a billion, like almost 800 million just on that one alone, because it's still the best one. Spoiler alert: that one's still the best, even after seeing this one.
This one's not the best. I will say that.
This one's not the best.
I won't say Fallout's the best, but I will say this one's
Fallout's better.
This is not the best.
This is not the best one.
I definitely need more from this movie if to consider this one to be the best. And
100%.
It gave a lot. It just didn't give. We were talking about something. It didn't give closure.
It didn't give closure.
Yeah, it's like you would think, like with name Final Reckoning, Tom Cruise's last one.
Yeah,
you have a lot more closure at it. And they end it just like they end all the other Mission Impossible films, where all the guys meet. They're all in the crowd.
Yep.
They look at each other. They smile, and then they pan out.
Yeah, and then they all go their separate ways until next time.
Yes.
It very much, because they had been kind of like, I would say for at least a year, been kind of shoving down our throats, like, this is the last one. This is the last Tom Cruise one, so it's it's basically the end of the Mission Impossible franchise. If Tom Cruise isn't doing any more, they're probably not going to do any more, at least for a few years, and they'll find new people and stuff. But it didn't have that like finality feel to it at all.
I said the most finale part of it is the Tom Cruise talking about it in the very first part of the movie.
Yeah.
When he's like, hey, thank y'all. This is how you're watching the movie, how it's supposed to be presented.
Yeah, the intro of Tom Cruise looking in the camera being like, thanks for coming to this movie and stuff. Yeah, like that's the only thing.
That was the most final part of it.
Yeah, and I mean, Luther dying, R.I.P. so fast. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Sorry, guys.
It's been 2 weeks. It's been out for a couple weeks. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah, but if you're watching this aspect of it,
yeah,
and you're watching this one,
you should know what happens.
As we told y'all in the last episode that we were going to go watch it.
Yeah, I'll put in the show notes at the very top spoilers.
Exactly.
Just because I said a spoiler and then said spoiler alert. But yeah, so Luther dies like
very
almost immediately in the movie.
He goes in this hole, gets this illness that he has
unexplained.
Yeah, very unexplained. They said, hey, there's a medical bill in there, and he's working on this. What do they call the virus? I guess
the poison pill.
The poison pill, yeah, the poison pill.
So they can infect it.
So they can infect it. He succeeds. He tries to give it to Ethan. Ethan doesn't take it, which is wild.
Don't understand that.
You give it to me yourself. I go, no, he's fucking dying.
He's literally dying.
He's literally on like a stretcher.
He's literally dying in a bed. He has the oxygen up his nose.
Yeah, in his tunnel.
Like, he's dying.
Yeah, and then that's another thing too. I don't know what made them go the direct that he was already dying, because to me it took away from the fact of his sacrifice.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you would need Luther to have any more reason than this is the only way this can be done.
Exactly. He would have did it.
So why would he would have done it? No questions asked.
Exactly. 100%.
So there's no reason for him to be dying.
Yeah, dying. We already knew he was in a hole. We could just left it like that. I don't mean, maybe he was actually sick and they wanted to play that all. I don't know.
I have no idea.
But it just, that fell short to me a little bit.
Yeah, because his sacrifice was dope, and I was like, God damn! It's only been it's like a 3-hour movie, so it's like 30 minutes into the movie, which is pretty early, narratively, and it's like, okay, well, he fucking died. Now no one's safe as far as I'm concerned. But his sacrifice is, it doesn't hit as hard because. If he was like, yeah, I'm totally fine, we're all gonna get out of here, but then he had to stay. And then and then at the end, when there is people who could sacrifice themselves and they're totally fine, they all make it. Yep. And so it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Well,
I don't know. I didn't like it.
Weird. And I don't know. This one played on the twist a lot, not just only this time, but other time. That hey, there's a. If I were to clip this last wire, there would still be implosion here, not other ones. But none of the other movies that had bombs, which is damn near every Mission Impossible movie, had this plot twist to where, hey, only this one type of bomb, they just so happened to found out in 2024, or 2025, excuse me, or this time frame, whatever this movie is, which they pretty much go in the same timeline that we are right now with this movie, which I didn't know that we were still chronologically, hey, when they see stuff, we see stuff.
Yeah.
But I just didn't understand why that twist had to come into the plot besides killing characters or putting more suspense.
Oh yeah, the why are these bombs where they're they can disable any bomb in the world, nuclear or not, up until this movie, and now it's well, we can cut it, but if we cut we can only do it in such a way where it'll still explode, but it won't be a nuclear explosion and take out a bunch of innocent people.
Doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, that happened twice in this movie. One where a man who he was already dying did it, and then there was the 3 people at the end, none of who were dying, and they make it. I don't know. It's a very weird plot device to use in the same movie twice, and I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that's another thing too. At the very end too, they have 10 seconds to run to their place. All 3 of them not getting in there in 10 seconds. I'm gonna let you know that right now. Maybe the army guy.
Yeah.
Maybe Langley.
Langley.
And let's talk about Langley, because I thought Langley was probably one of the best parts of this movie.
That was awesome.
The callbacks, I think, were probably the best.
The callbacks were nice.
Were really nice, especially. I guess first let's talk about the rabbit's foot. The rabbit's foot.
That was the best.
And we talked about it literally. And it's wild.
We talked
about it literally 30 minutes before we went to go see this movie. Is that we still didn't know what the rabbit's foot did. We found out the rabbit's foot is pretty much
the beginning of the entity.
Exactly.
The East was, how did they say it? The East started the technology, and then when Ethan stole it, the West was able to finish it and actually start
and let the entity out,
and let the entity out and use it for their own advantage.
Is good. That was sick. Which a lot ties into hey, why wasn't any here all this time? I mean, since 2012, which we didn't know what the timeline was, but they gave us a little timeline on when the submarine crashed.
That was 2012, and so that's when this started,
and that's when Mission Impossible 3 came out.
Yeah,
which is kind of wild that they did 4, 5, 6, 7. And now 5 movies between 2012 and 2025.
Yeah, 13 years.
Yes,
that's
took them
pretty good.
3 years to do what? 18,
it took them
18 years. 18 years to do 3 movies.
Yeah,
96 to 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it took them 3 years, and then they pop out 5 in the next.
Yeah, and then they just
12.
Yeah.
Actually, 13. Is it 2025 or 2026? Holy fuck!
What's your question?
Is it
I got lost in the
it's
numbers.
2025.
Right now, it's
like
2025.
Yeah,
yes.
so 13 years. They pop out 5 more movies, and it took them 12 years to do 3.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, but I guess, hey, that's movies, and especially when big scope of this, takes to get permits and shit like that.
Oh yeah, I mean they filmed in a bunch of different places, and this one they literally went all over the world.
Finding out what the rabbit's foot was, which was really
super
cool,
sick.
I think that's
super awesome.
I think that's such a Tom Cruise idea, to be honest, like because like it's one thing that like we know usually what he's chasing and why he's chasing it. The third one is the only reason when we don't know what it's chasing, which to me makes the third one even better.
Yeah, no, it does.
It makes the third one so much better.
It definitely elevates the third one, which is already like super high on the list anyway. But like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, is this so how do I phrase it? It felt like they tied up a bunch of loose ends or just gave us a bunch of like deeper lore about the rest of the movies and made sure all that was tight by being like, okay, here's the rabbit's foot from 5 movies ago, and here's what it was the entire time and stuff. And they were like really focused on that this movie, other stuff went to the wayside, such as why did we use this plot device twice with the bombs, like at the beginning, at the end, where like out of nowhere, and then the one character who did die was already dying, and then the other, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they were so focused on making sure like those like full series narratives were kind of like coming in, and like those kind of pokes were coming in and out.
But yeah,
they like kind of missed a little bit on this one.
With the first 15 minutes, they had a full like rehorse or recap. Actually, it wasn't the first 15 minutes. It's when Ethan went into the talk to the entity.
Yeah, to talk to the entity in the little like
flashback.
It
flashback. I mean, to be honest, if you didn't know what happened in the first 7 movies, you could have figured out.
Figure it out.
The whole thing. They had a lot of clipbacks and montages back.
Oh yeah. Pretty much everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
Was looking at
Except, where the fuck was Julie, dude? Where was his wife?
That's the only one that I thought would be in this movie that wasn't.
I'm shocked that there was no even like real. There wasn't even like a lot of like allusion to her.
No,
like,
at all.
Like, it's more. They more so talk about the Gabriel, the before IMF thing, and they talk about it again, and like we were both like, oh hell yeah, we're gonna get some more of that, and then they never talk about that again either. So
they more play to the illusion that like, hey, Ethan feels guilty about sacrificing Julie. It was Julia. Her name is Julia. We kept calling her Julie, but in the movie they call her Julia.
Yeah, but he calls her Julia.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, Julie. No matter. But they go to the fact that Ethan feels bad about sacrificing the rabbit's foot entity.
Yeah.
For Julie's life.
Yeah.
When he calls potentially billions of lives for his one life, which is his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean gives, like I said, I don't know. It makes me feel. The first 2 are great standalone films, but I feel like 3 to 8 build on top of each other a lot.
At this point,
a lot more, especially now.
There was like a long-winded like thought process.
I mean, you got to think about it. The first 2, if you didn't watch the first 2 and you watched all the other ones, the only one you would not understand is Langley coming back in this film.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that you really.
Yeah, 2 they completely scrubbed from the narrative. They like nobody gives a shit about what happens in that one.
Small me nitpicking on this because I'll nitpick this movie a lot in this one because there were a lot
Absolutely.
of things.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm a tad disappointed.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed.
I'm not devastated. I'm not mad.
I'm not. It's not resolved to me.
It was a very fun popcorn flick,
yes.
which is all I ever want from Mission Impossible. But it was billed as, hey, there's gonna be a lot of like, this is over, and I felt like this movie was missing some stuff.
Substance. It was
lacking substance, and the like that feeling of like, wow, it's over.
Yes.
When you get like a franchise goes. So again, it's not bad.
Not bad at all.
It's not bad. I'm not disappointed. I'm not angry.
It's just wild. It's just so wild to me because I was watching it through, and to be honest, there was a lot of points I enjoyed it. Like, to be honest, I did not enjoy what's her name? Agent Carter. What's her name?
Grace.
Grace. Yeah, I didn't enjoy Grace's character as much in this movie solely because I don't know. I guess the reasons I didn't like Seven, her character in Seven, is the reason I really did like her. That she always ran and did all this other stuff.
Yeah,
she
did not want to be involved.
This one, all she wanted to do was be involved.
Yeah.
It's kind of like she took Ilsa's character, pretty much, but in the past 3
Well, I mean, she's full blown a part of the
part of the crew
IMF
now,
at this
and then
point.
she's like
so
sucking Ethan's dick and thinks Ethan could be God and all this.
Yeah,
other stuff.
she was really, I don't know.
Like, I trust you in my whole life, and like, you're a fucking thief. What kind of moral compass do you have?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think her character wasn't as fleshed out as she needed to be.
And like her character too. I was very disappointed because like the only I think woman Ethan kisses is Julie, I think, in all the movies. Actually, no,
the White Widow gives him a big old smack on the lips.
And the girl in the second one, too, they smooch a lot.
Yeah, oh God, like overtly.
Yes, a lot. That's all they do.
Overtly, and that was pretty much all they do.
But like, I was just waiting for them to kiss, especially like when he got out of the hyperbaric chamber. I was like, yo, like
that would have been the moment.
Yeah, like, hey, I was
like, not at the end, like, because I was like, she's gonna kiss him now, and it's gonna be the end, and it's like that's just gonna feel off. But like, what in the like decompression chamber, like that's when it should have happened, and it still didn't. Like they're being all cutesy and stuff, but like it still felt.
But yeah,
I don't know, man.
Also like it's not this is actually not a nitpick at all. It's just like your plot because like they make this whole thing, the whole I guess second act of the movie is them getting to the submarine and then him going down to it. And submarine scene is probably the quietest part of the movie. There's like no dialogue at all.
Yeah, I was cool with the like 5 to 8 minutes of no talking and just watching him do this crazy thing.
Yes, and going in between nukes and nukes. I mean, not nukes, but torpedoes and
torpedoes
which don't blow up. But the only part that like I really struggle with to like. They talk about, they have this whole scene talk about like what his symptoms would be for him rising too quickly or him doing the wrong thing. Yeah. He gets out of the torpedo. He has to take off his suit because he can't fit through the torpedo missile guiding thing. And he comes out, has to take it all off. He loses it, and he goes all the way up. They said, hey, if you don't do the right things, this stops you from it being hours to days. Yeah. At that point, he only had 2.5 days left to get everything.
And all of a sudden, it's
exactly. I guess a day had passed because they see like this, and that's another thing too. Like when Jackie? No, what's her name? Fuck, I can forget.
Jackie.
Is it Jackie?
Who the fuck is Jackie?
I'm sorry. Agent Carter's name.
Grace.
Grace.
Where the fuck did you get Jackie?
I don't know. I'm getting close.
Jackie and Grace are not close.
GJ, they kind of sound the same. Okay. Anyway, like when she's like just watching him for I guess a days.
12 hours at least.
You see the sun and go up and down at least to me twice.
True. Yeah, it looked like it.
I watched it at least twice go from.
It looked
sun,
like it
dark,
for sure.
Sun dark. So, and that, I mean, hey, they're in the North Pole, so that could be very different than what we perceive.
Yeah, they are at the very tippity top of the world, and it does, depending on the time of the year, the sun doesn't set.
Yeah, but they decided to have this full fucking dialogue talking about, hey, I've been thinking that you should control the entity, and you're the only person who can control it, so that way we can use it to make people's lives better. And I'm like, yo, get the fuck up. The first thing I would ask is like, how much time is left?
Like, he's just like, what? He's like, well, the first thing he says, where's the thing? And she's like, you got it. It's all good. He's like, great. What time is it? What day is it? We gotta go.
And like, first of all, he should be dead. Like, because he literally rides 501 meters in cold weather, and then
a ridiculous amount.
Who knows how long he was actually in the water? To be honest,
a ridiculous amount.
Exactly. So,
also, that shot of. I know it seems like
the tent shot.
Not the tent shot. The shot of where he's under the water and then she's there.
Yeah, she gets underwater.
But it's like, I don't know. I'm confused on did she actually get into the water and stuff because they had to cut through it.
Yes.
So I guess she did do it. I don't know. It was just weird.
Yes, very much so. Like
it's just weird.
I think like she got in the water and then she pulled him out, which I don't think you need to pull him out, but also don't know how you found him and moved the piece of ice and then didn't move his body in the same time.
Yeah, I don't.
But here's the thing. That's a very small nitpick. I'm guessing there's probably way. There was one scene that I really did not like in this whole movie. Everything else I can kind of justify. Like, hey, don't think too deep into it. But I don't know why they shot it. It was when Grace and Ethan had got captured after they had finally met for the first time in this movie.
Right.
And they get captured. They're both tied up. Gabriel walks in.
Oh, yeah.
Ethan pops the cyanide thing in. And then they both get out. They both rescue. And it's just Grace and Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ethan gets a sledgehammer, and then they like show Grace's face.
Yeah,
like all
that
scene,
was weird.
all scene, and like
you see her reaction to him going ham.
Exactly, and it does not change the movie at all. Like, and it's just so weird. I don't know.
It's just weird
why they chose not to show like a fight. They've never done that.
Yeah, they've never done that.
Where it's like an all scene. Hey, we're panning to some secondary character.
Also, it just like it.
When she's an MIF agent at this point, so like, like there shouldn't be that.
She shouldn't be shocked first of all.
At all for someone just being
but also at the same time, like it's so the two things about that scene that I thought that felt super fucking weird to me was one. He does the cyanide thing, which, like, at first I was like, hell yeah, that's classic espionage shit. Like, have the false tooth with the cyanide and stuff. No explanation on, like, okay, so it's not real cyanide because his mouth foams up, so he has an Alka-Seltzer in there.
Yeah,
like,
much.
Is that what it is? Like,
I think
these kind of movies, all before, there's always at least a quick comment.
Yeah.
Like, and stuff. She wasn't like, what was that? And, like, while they were walking away, and then he's like, oh, it's just this. I'll take it. That's all I need. Yes. First of all. Second of all, she shouldn't be so freaked out by people dying in front of her, first of all. But second of all, he brutalizes these guys. Yes. You see, like, the axe in the one dude's back and stuff, and, like, he's, like, more covered in blood than he usually is and stuff, like, going and stuff. And it's like, and he's like, no, they were going to hurt you. Like, I had to save you. It's fine. Like, we got to go. Like, and stuff. And it's just like, why did he go so brutal on these guys for her? And then again, there's no kiss, but they clearly have emotions for each other. Yes. And like that just didn't, like, their relationship just didn't feel very fleshed out in a meaningful way, which is crazy because between the two movies that they're in, it's, let's see, it's 2 hours and 45 and then 2 hours and 50. So almost 6 full hours of time to get their relationship a little more like pinned down to be like, this is where they stand. And it's just like, I don't know, there was just like, yeah, that was just like kind of weird, a weird energy coming from that scene.
Especially for them not to kiss at the end.
Just to not even kiss
or for them not to leave together at the end of it. Mm-hmm. For her just to give him the entity and just walk off.
And then walk a different way and stuff. Yeah, if they had walked off together, like not even hand in hand, but just walked the same direction, I'd be like, great.
Yeah, it's like, hey, now
I wouldn't be bitching about
this. He finally gets his love. Yeah. He saved the world. He's done everything he could possibly do. He saved all the Americans. Exactly. I mean, all the people. Yeah. Because at least in all the movies, he's saving a certain group.
It's usually people. Yeah, it's usually like a certain part of the world. Yeah,
this one he saved everybody.
This is literally the entire world. Yeah, so it's like he finally did it. How could the mission be more impossible? Exactly. You know,
because he's like, you save for the people who you love, and you save for the people who will never know your love.
Yeah, it's the people you'll never like meet, or the people you'll never know is like their oath.
Yes,
and stuff.
So now he's touched everybody who either knows him or does not know him.
Exactly. So he's literally done it.
I guess that is the conclusion of it. I guess they kept kind of
in that energy kind of a ways, yeah. But like, I still think that I just still feel like it just didn't have that finality.
Yes.
You know, like it just really didn't have that finality. And like, again, like I don't know where him and Grace stand and stuff. Where was the callback to Julie? Yes. Any mention of her except for except for when he's in the like the rabbit's foot stuff, and then like the like quick shot, the like recap thing when he's in the sarcophagus or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, again, really good scenes. Like, we were talking about, we wanted really good like fight choreography and stuff. I think when the one like disciple or whatever they're called that like goes to attack him in the submarine while he's on the treadmill, that fight was really good, especially from Ethan / Tom Cruise. And then
there was 3 different fights going on in that scene. It was that fight one, scene, and then they were in the hut.
Yeah, and then they were in with
the Russians.
Yeah, they were with the Russians, trying to get the coordinates and stuff. And that fight scene was really good. And then, like going
with Grace and them in the barn,
and then Grace and the wife in the barn, like going back and forth between all 3 of those. Those were all really good choreography and like really good editing, and felt really good. And was like, yeah, this is good. Yes. It's not as good as the bathroom scene, but it's good. Yeah, like it had the energy I wanted, and I really liked it. But you said the like whole second act is the submarine, like going and getting the thing,
finding the submarine and getting into the submarine.
That felt like the whole goddamn movie.
Yes, it did.
You know what I mean?
It felt like a lot.
It felt like a lot of the movie, and like an hour of the 3 hours. So like, yeah, I guess like the second like act, but like
it was just all.
And it was cool, but it just felt really long. And what did you say? You said the entity didn't really bother them.
Yeah, well, it was non-existent because
it was like non-existent, except for taking over the nukes of the
exactly taking over the nukes. Which we finally knew that was his
objective. That's the clock
to cleanse the world.
Yeah, like that's like the clock that they're racing against. But like that's why they have the 3-day timer.
I don't understand why the entity got rid of Gabriel at that point, because to be honest,
his human error.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that, because like the entity, without someone getting the entity into the bunker. Mm-hmm. What was Entity's plan? Like, how was you going to get Ethan to do that besides having Gabriel do what they want? And maybe that's what the Entity knew, was what Gabriel was going to betray the Entity. Him.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think is like, because like there's like a brief conversation that they're like, oh yeah, Gabriel, he wants to take it for his own power. He doesn't want to like assist. He doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be like if the entity is Jesus, he doesn't want to be Peter anymore. He wants to be Judas. Yes. Like, and it's like, okay, like I guess I don't know. It just there was some there's plot stuff and like character stuff that was questionable.
Well, there's one callback that I just thought was completely unnecessary. I mean, it was like, hey, it's cool, but that was making like the cop who's been chasing the past 2 movies.
Yeah.
His mentor's son.
From the first.
And it was
movie.
like.
Also, that was weird too, because so for a second I was confused. I was like, wait, he was 7? This guy is so much older than Ethan, but he was 7 when his dad disappeared and then was working for years so it makes sense that he would be like, the age does make sense. For a second I was like, he was 7 when the first movie happened? This guy's geriatric.
96, that's like, 30 years. I mean, he's not 36, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. So 96, he must have been like in his 20s.
7 years is 30. When he got, 7 years is when he probably got into tax fraud, and he joined MI6.
Yeah, that's when he first joined, and then he was a leader.
Legal problems.
Yeah, he was the leader of the team in 96 because he'd been doing it for decades at that point, and it like disappeared from his family and stuff. So it makes sense now, but for a second I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how is this possible?
Also, like,
shouldn't this guy be like 10 years younger than Ethan at the most?
Yeah, I mean 37 is the timeline if that were to be the case.
Yeah, exactly. But he's fine. It's fine. But like, yeah, that callback was kind of like,
it's just like, why? Okay. Why? I mean, it didn't pass off of anything. Like, he didn't have any type of vendetta against it. He only was like, hey, I'm flying by the book.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm gonna fly by the book, unlike my dad did.
I listen to orders.
Yeah, and it's like, yes, cool, dude. Fucking bootlicker, dude. Sick.
Well, like, I mean, also, like, to me, like, I don't know, this is what I thought, like, halfway through the movie, or a little, I guess after the movie now, I'm thinking about it, is that MIF is a little rapey. Like, when they're talking about how they get the recruits, they always get them at their lowest points, like, hey, yo, I can use you.
They definitely take advantage.
Yeah, it's like, they got Ethan after he did whatever he did because his wife got murdered by Gabriel, still don't know.
Don't know.
Yes, we never know.
Yes, we will.
It's a new rabbit's foot.
Yeah, exactly. They took the rabbit's foot, they gave us the rabbit's foot, and then made another.
They got his mentor because he was in legal problems,
quote unquote. They get
Grace because she's a thief, and now she's got caught up with the entity and the guy has the keys. So now they got Grace in that aspect.
And then Luther, like, he talks about it all the time. Like, he doesn't say specifically, but he's always like, we all were given the choice, and like Benji too is like, we were given a choice because of shit we did and stuff. So like, yeah, everybody comes from
like bad circumstances. Like, hey, I'm at my lowest point.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, well, you're really good at what you do, so how about instead of going to prison, you save the world? And so, yeah, it's very much like, well, you can't really say no.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're not giving me a choice.
They really back you into a corner and take advantage of you.
Choose me either prison or, hey, doing this crazy shit that I know I might be able to pull off. Or
do I want to be a sick badass
and just run off into the sunset one day?
Exactly.
Which also, like, it's kind of crazy because, like, you give all these like super intelligent people, these top 1%ers of what they do in the world.
Yeah, they're the elite.
And you're giving them pretty much free access to do whatever they need to, especially like towards the end. Like, I guess after the third one, he's following orders.
Yeah, he's following orders heavy.
The fourth one, which is what?
That's Ghost Protocol.
Ghost Protocol. That's when they start going off the book.
That's when they start going, okay, the IMF is like no longer actively working, but we're still doing our mission. Because that's the one with
the Kremlin
and stuff. So they're like, all right, shut it down, which leads to Rogue Nation, where Baldwin comes in and he's like, we got get rid of this place. They're unrelegated and they're fucking everything up for the rest of us. Blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. It's just there's some things. Very visually beautiful movie to watch. This theater, I guess, had very good subwoofers compared to my last.
Yeah, the sound was really good in this one.
Was
yeah,
really good.
Yeah, the
like
theater did a good job.
Like it was very suspenseful in the big bass parts or the big suspense parts.
Yeah, you could feel it.
Exactly. So you were like, oh, dude, like I would
yeah,
have to readjust.
It's definitely a theater watch.
Yeah, very much.
It's
so.
definitely a theater
Tom Cruise
watch.
was right.
But like, here's the thing though, man. I like Dead Reckoning. I watched that at home on my couch, and like, don't get me wrong, I got a pretty sick sound system for my home theater, and by that I mean my living room, and I enjoyed that more watching that at home. Yes. You know? Hold on, you have a thought. Hold on.
I just thought about something.
What? Oh, God.
This is crazy.
I'm scared.
It's very big reach. Very, very, very big reach.
The best.
Maybe the entity is Scientology.
No.
And then Ethan takes it at the very end.
He would never.
And he uses it for himself.
No, it could never be that metaphor.
Enlighten the world.
It could never be that metaphor.
Watch that be Tom Cruise's next movie. It's something to do that's very off-risk Scientology based movie.
He would never put the entity to be Scientology to be the biggest evil thing in the world. He literally can't.
That's the message, Jacob. Wake up. Wake up.
You think Tom Cruise is trying to... Oh, hold on.
He's brainwashing us.
Let me... No. But the entity is a bad guy.
Huh?
The entity's a bad guy.
In the eyes of, like, the movie.
Exactly. Tom Cruise... So, okay.
But they say
this is a whole. Hold on. This is a whole different kind of conversation for a whole different podcast. But let me tell you this. So, they wanted the guy, their Tom Cruise. You know who it was before? It was John Travolta. Okay. They made a movie called they made not Battlestar Galactica. I can't remember what it is, but they made a movie, a sci-fi movie that's very much based off of Scientology and like what it actually believes, a little more dramatized. It did not do well, and then they kind of like excommunicated John Travolta. They were like, he's not the guy anymore. And then Tom Cruise came in, and now he's the guy. There's a reason why he doesn't play bad guys anymore. Collateral with Jamie Foxx, that was pre-Scientology with Tom Cruise, and that movie fucking slaps. And he's the bad guy. Have you seen that movie, Collateral?
No, I'm not.
It's okay. So Jamie Foxx is a taxi driver, and Tom Cruise gets in the back and basically is like, "You have to drive me to these places where I have to like assassinate these people, like do these crimes. And if you don't, I'm gonna kill you and the people you love and stuff." And it's so fucking good. It's a tight script. It's so well acted. But Tom Cruise is a bad guy. That was one of, if not the last bad guy roles he ever did, because he got into Scientology after. Because John Travolta didn't do it. He wasn't able to do it. So then they were like, okay, we're not using you like to get our message out. Here comes Tom Cruise. He's all in. Like, have you ever seen the pictures of oh my God, what's her name? We come to this place.
Yes.
What's her fucking name? Why can't I think of her name? Fucking AMC. She is
Nicole
AMC.
Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
Sorry.
Have you seen the pictures of when she finalizes her divorce with Tom Cruise when she was married to him because he got into Scientology and she left him because of it? She's walking down the street like it's a fucking movie with her arms spread out, being like, yes, thank God I'm away from him and that shit. Like, he would not. This movie, the entity can't be Scientology because Tom Cruise would never do that. He would never agree to make Scientology the bad guy in any way. The bad guy is AI. That's what this movie is about. Obviously.
Well, I was looking in the meantime when Tom Cruise got into Scientology because I was like, hey, maybe Tom Cruise got into Scientology right when the third one came out because that's when he let out the rabbit's foot started. Yeah, started, and he got into Scientology like 1974. And then I looked up to see when him and Nicole Kidman got divorced, and it was like 2006. So none of those timelines work out for me.
No, so. yeah. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. But like, yeah, again, if you want to learn more about Scientology, do it yourself.
Exactly.
This is not the podcast for it. There's plenty of them out there, and they're all fascinating. Don't get into Scientology. Don't read Dianetics. Nope. Don't do it. Don't read it. Don't even look at it. It's a very interesting read from what I've read from it, and it'll hook you. It's really good at being really interesting. just don't do it. Okay, end of discussion. Scientology, we gotta stop.
But then Benji, we talked about this too. Benji gets shot at like the end of it, and I saw the Benji get shot.
Yes,
and
same. You can see him get shot, which again, great acting by Simon Pegg. I love that man.
Such great acting because like it's very subtle, and like to be honest, I was just happened to be like, because I was like the beginning of the climax of the movie, so I was like, okay, I'm watching everything. I'm like super
you gotta lock in at that point,
especially because the action scene had just got came up because they were getting ready to escape. They were going to go like chase scenes.
Oh yeah, as soon as Gabriel said now, and the gun started firing in that moment outside the server room, it was like, okay, we're this last 30 minutes is going to be insane.
It's going to be pop. But then like he kicks the I guess entity. Or
there's a word for it, but it's Russian.
Yeah, exactly. The kick the entity to Grace. Her bitch ass catches it. Also, she did not do any pickpocketing in this movie. Sorry,
except the very beginning. The very beginning with the two guys at the party.
Yeah, with the guns and
before they get captured, and then he brutalizes some people for no reason.
I'm sorry, but that's not what I was getting to. But Simon Pegg gets shot. They go through this whole thing where, hey, he's dying, he's not dying, he's dying, he's not dying.
Yeah.
And makes you feel like he's going to die, and then Tom Cruise is about to unnaturally die again.
Yeah.
And they both make it out.
They both make it out scot-free.
They're scot-free. Like,
by the end of the movie, they're both walking around.
They're walking around, and they're good. Like, exactly. They're going to do their next fucking
it was very frustrating.
mission.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were talking about on the drive back. Like, it literally is so frustrating because it's like, okay, Luther died early. And as soon as he died, like, again, like 30 minutes into this 3-hour movie, I was like, okay, all bets are off. Any one of them could die. And then, Benji gets shot in the stomach, which is really hard to not die from. Like, and stuff. And like Paris does, like I've seen that in movies, and like that seems to be like a real thing. I'm not a fucking doctor, I don't know. But like she like does the lung thing so he can breathe and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's believable. I've seen that before. But he fucking makes it. And then Ethan, his parachute's on fire as he's going to the ground and stuff. And I just like, I don't know, if it was really the final one, Benji, once they were like, we did it and stuff, Benji dead in that moment in the bunker in the server room, and them trying to, and then like the guys, Kittredge and the son of whatever his name is, go and they find him dead with the thing in his hand. And as he's dying, we hear Luther's message.
Yes. Okay, so
end of movie.
Well, okay, so let me add on to it a little bit.
Or then all the new recruits meet up in the square, and then they all walk away.
I think you're right on track to where I think the movie should end. I think it literally. I mean, this wouldn't have been that hard. I mean, I could just thought of it right now when you were talking. Yeah. Is that hey, Ethan's falling. He's struggling to put the kill switch or the
poison pill.
Yeah, the poison pill into the device.
Yeah.
All you see is. He gets close. Mm-hmm. Benji takes his last little breath, falls out. You see the light pop off. They did it. They save it.
Yeah. Yeah, she snatches it.
Benji dies right there, and then you pan out to Ethan just like laid out. His torpedo, or I guess his parachute just kind of on top of him with his legs kind of flailed out, making it look like he's dead.
Yeah.
And then you hear Luther's message play right beside Ethan, there in his ear, and then that's how the movie fades out.
Yeah.
And then maybe you see, hey, the new team. Or
movie fades out, and then I would even take movie fades out.
You see Grace, the Asian girl, and the black guy.
You see that scene at the end where they all walk away from each other, but then as they're walking away, Grace, Ethan comes up, bumps into her, and like pickpockets the lighter that she still has from from Dead Reckoning,
so that he can always find her.
And says, "Oh, did you drop this?" Turns around and she sees it's him. End of movie roll credits. Yes. He made it somehow.
Yes,
and now he's like,
he can always find her. She holds that lighter for him.
Yeah,
so
and he's like, I lost Luther, I lost Benji, I've saved the entire world, I'm out. And that I would get all that from. I honestly just gave myself chills. Us coming up with what would have been a more final story. This is everybody made it out except for Luther, but again, we knew from the get-go he was dying already.
Exactly.
From cancer? Question mark.
Cancer.
Some random
heart
bullshit. Heart disease.
High cholesterol, like most people.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude too. So he's a big dude. So maybe. Also, and he sits on the computer a lot. He don't run around in the field.
So. One, I've thought about the whole movie. Dude, the POCs in all Mission Impossible movies, or besides the the love interest in the second movie are all like super strong. I mean, yeah, Luther. You have the black guy who gets self-aware in this movie, who like, hey,
because in Dead Reckoning, Dega or whatever, however you say his name, I loved him in both of these because in Dead Reckoning, he's like
questioning himself.
Yeah, well, he's like questioning the fucking dude. He's like his boss. He's like,
what if Ethan's
he's like,
right?
what side? He's like, what side are you on? And he was like, everyone.
Yeah, people's
side. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are we? He's like, what's with all the politics and stuff? Like, and like, I knew he was going to be a big part in this one because of that.
And then you have the Asian girl who, what's it called? Stop the
Paris.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, not Paris. The girl who was in the bunker.
In 3.
Yeah, no, the girl who's in the bunker on this movie.
That's Paris.
No, Paris is the girl who's with Ethan. I'm talking about the girl who's in the bunker, like the bunker with the president and all of them. Who stops the white guy from
stops
shooting
the guy
from shooting the president.
The disciple shooting Angela Bassett, the president. Which if only
it shows Angela
Bassett is president. If only,
yes.
If only we could be so lucky.
Well, we were saying that in the movie theater. It's like, yo, I thought that was Angela Bassett's voice, but like,
at the beginning,
like you just can't like you want to say, hey, yo, that's Angela Bassett's voice.
As soon as she started speaking and she was like, "This is the president," I was like,
What a come up! I've never seen a national security like.
Yeah, she was CIA too, and then she was kind of in the background in this one. Like she was like on the wall, like a couple pictures. They were talking about her and stuff. But and it's like she'd been like she probably switched from like the like public, not public to private, but like went from like a director of an entity to like a politician, like in that one, and now she's just full blown president, which was loose. Fuck.
Okay, so here's another thing too that I mean, let's think about. This is a little nitpicking plot thread that didn't really add it to me. So all these countries could have instantly made, or most of these countries, besides like the very small, because they went from like smallest to biggest throughout the movie. Of, like, the military
it's easier to infiltrate the smaller ones, and then like the big 3 at the end. Yeah,
and like none of these countries went offline, which. Maybe I'm dumb about nuclear bombs, but maybe if I turn a computer off when I want to, I can turn that bitch back on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Easy.
So like, why am I not just like turning my systems off?
And why did they not have that revelation? Again, Angela Bassett is president. I love it, but right before she presses the button, she shuts it down, and she's like, "I should have done what I should have done from the beginning." Like, I'm doing what I should have done from the beginning and taking all of our stuff online. And like, but then we'll be defenseless. And then another guy's like, he's like, yeah, but then the entity can't get to it. And it's like, so why don't we just do that?
I mean, you're dead anyway. If you lose, you're dead anyway. I mean there's no way the United States can, or United States of America can take on every other military arsenal.
No, see, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like,
so I mean, maybe, and they're like, "Yo, we can kill some more people," and I was like, "Please be Los Angeles."
It felt like, please,
just give us that cleanse.
So funny. Also, I love how they specifically didn't say they're like, okay, all the targets are set, including the American city that you chose, not including Chicago. Like they were like, we're not gonna say, we're not gonna pick a city. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If it was me, it would be Los Angeles. There's too many good people in Los Angeles still.
It was just so funny that they just didn't specifically say like a strategic place.
It would be it would be Dallas, Texas.
Well, it's like,
I would kill Dallas, Texas.
Well, that's a whole different podcast, and that's all sports. That's only sports. Is it? Yeah, that's only sports related.
Well, here's the thing. I don't really think so.
You better watch out, Jerry Jones. Justin's coming.
Jerry Jones has a bunker in his house. Let's get there.
He got 3.
Jerry Jones is safe.
He's fine
in this ideal world.
Yeah, he's been salting himself for a while. He'll be all right.
The bad Dallas Cowboys fans aren't the ones who are from Dallas. They're the ones who fucking are everywhere else that claim to be Dallas Cowboys fans. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm not talking about anybody who I know.
Disclaimer.
Besides my family members. So if you're taking this, the person who's probably going to get offense to that is he's from Dallas. So I give him credit. I won't name drop anybody.
Shout out.
Nick your bitch.
So Dallas, for unrelated reasons.
Maybe just like super infiltrate just the people who are Dallas Cowboys fans who don't live in. Anyway, sorry, not this podcast.
Wrong podcast.
My bad.
I just don't. But again, I just think it's funny that they didn't say any specific name, because like, is that like, oh yeah, you don't want to say a specific name because you don't want to give any other governments like an idea of where we would be working about.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, I think they know. Like, we all know like where the strategic places would be to hit America and like fuck them up and stuff. But I did think that was funny that they're like that. Like he specifically says like, and the American city you chose as well, instead of like Nashville, or like Dallas, or like New York City. Like instead of saying any specific place, it's like just and the one that we're gonna do.
To be honest, and then, like, not this podcast, but like if I were the president, it would have to be some big city that's not near any other big cities. I would say so. Like, to be honest, that gets rid of California. That really gets
pretty much all of California.
It gets rid of New York because Boston's too close.
And there's just if we were doing it to ourselves, there's literally so many people in New York.
I would think if you had to do it, it'd be like a city like Miami.
Yeah, maybe Miami. Seattle's
with that. I mean, you got Northern California, you got Las Vegas. It can be affected right there too.
Yeah, Las Vegas would be fucked up too. Yeah. Doing Las Vegas is a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's so small. And
a waste of money, dude. That
there's nothing strategic there. Yeah, the government's getting that money.
Yeah, the industry feeds our economy.
Exactly.
Do your research.
Yeah. Look it up. Speaking of sports betting, have you ever heard of it? Have you lost money on sports betting?
Just to get back to the movie, it was just. I don't know. The scenes I really enjoyed. It's just the scenes. Every action scene I had a problem with. Where it just.
I get that.
It was either something I was like, yeah, that's just not how that works.
Yeah.
Like, or that's not how like you're leading to believe how that works.
Yeah.
Like,
and like
I don't know that much. Besides, I know that you can't rise up in water too fast.
No,
and I do know.
I mean, I don't know what the bins looks like and stuff, but like.
Or like the time frame which you have, but
he seemed fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
after seemingly like let's say 10 hours, he seemed fine.
Exactly.
Which is we were directly told 30 minutes before that is not going to be the case.
Exactly, especially for like that crazy of a stunt. Just in just real practical world now. I mean, just that crazy of a stunt to do that, and like it's not like. It's different if we didn't have a countdown. Yeah. The countdown gives us some type of time frame of when, like, hey, how all this is progressing, what the time escape is.
Exactly. And we immediately know he has, like, 3.5 days.
At that point, it was 2.5 days. I remember it was
at that point, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I know, it was like 2 hours, 2 days, 10 hours, 2 hours, like 14. It was something like that. It was like
somewhere within 2 days.
Yeah, 2.5 days.
2.5 days. Yeah.
So it was just like.
Still, though,
for that to go down. And also, they said, hey, you have 15 minutes for your go down, and then
the relay.
Yeah, and then you have 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes on the ship. To be honest, we saw more than 10 minutes of Tom Cruise screen time. Like, I don't know if they were trying to give multiple shots, multiple pans to make us feel like that.
Yeah.
But that scene lasted way longer than 10 minutes.
Than it felt like it should.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree
that and the torpedo scene kind of like.
Like the torpedoes hitting each other and stuff.
To be honest, like torpedoes are known to like when they hit contact, they're supposed to explode.
Yeah, but also they're going at high speeds and they're hitting a really hard target. So if they're just kind of splashing in water and then slowly hitting each other in water, like I'll give them leeway on that.
I will believe that if they were like, hey, these are new made torpedoes and like.
Well, they're from 2012.
Yeah, but that's 13 years at that point. These are 13-year-olds in cold ass water.
That's true.
Also, okay, so another thing too.
Well, they didn't get wet until he opened the thing. It was dry inside.
That's true.
So,
but another thing that was kind of weird to me in the aspect of it is, do you remember like when he first got into like that first room and like the people who had survived or kind of buckled themselves
those
inside
guys that had buckled
for waiting. There was one guy pointing.
Yeah, what the and like mouth open.
What was that? Yeah, what was he pointing at?
What was he pointing at? And why did he look like that? And then why did we only get that one shot? Was it just like a random jump scare for the sake of it?
And to me, logically speaking, someone dies, and especially because these guys weren't in water at all. They were actually
at the time,
so how is your arm staying up like that? Because hey, when you die, I'm from what I don't know. I haven't died yet. So when you die, like your body's supposed to go limp.
You're not gonna get rigor mortis like that. Exactly. Yeah, you're not gonna get rigor mortis like unless he was like. Unless because the thing was moving, you know, like he put the water in and putting the water in, like,
and maybe it could have been.
So maybe he was hanging down.
But even still, it'd be like here. It would still be here.
Yeah, it would still be more up.
Then it would be.
Well, unless he was strapped in too. So he could have been strapped in and he was going straight down.
But then all of them would have been doing that though.
But then all of them would have been doing that, and only that one guy was. Yeah.
But
I don't know, a lot of issues like that.
It's like small things. I'm like, okay, so hey, I'll remember that. Or hey, he was pointing at something towards the screen, and then there'll be a callback later on to the movie because nothing. They don't show us what he's pointing at. They show.
Yeah, it felt like this movie was long for the sake of being really long.
Yes,
to be honest.
And also there was a lot of like, especially like going to the first act to the second act where Angela Bassett sets Tom Cruise free or Ethan Hunt free.
Yeah,
and he's this connection to the connection, and like they just give him code words or a necklace, and like, oh yeah, I trust you fully, wholly. Like, don't need any information.
Well, that was kind of frustrating for me because like Hannah Waddington, who she did her American accent was great. She sounded just like Sigourney Weaver.
Is that the girl who's in Ted Lasso?
Yeah, she was awesome. Yes. Like, but I was like, damn, she's barely in this movie. Like that kind of sucks. Yeah. Like it's like okay, this movie spent a lot of money getting her there, and then Trillman, I think is his name. I can't remember, but he's in Severance. Yes. The black dude who's in charge of the sub. Yeah, and he's fucking awesome and stuff. But I was like, damn, he's barely in this movie. like that sucks. And
he's the one who makes sense. He's like, hey, I need you to do this. Oh, you came in here looking for trouble. Well, you came to the right place. Yeah, I was like, cool, okay.
Exactly. Yeah, but like, and like, I don't know, but like, those two being in there, it's like we're gonna put as many faces that people want to see in this movie, and like that just extended it longer. And then you have the 8 minutes of silence while he's doing all that and stuff. So it's like we could have been a little snippy. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing people I know from other stuff like pop culture stuff like in movies that I'm watching and stuff, and like they did a good job. But I was like, okay, they need a more important role throughout the movie.
Yes. Well, also,
and the movie we can cut some time around it. You know.
Another thing, when Tom Cruise is in the submarine scene, I said it to you in the movie, like when he's opening up and he's letting water in, like he's the reason that bitch keeps like turning over because you're letting water sink in from more places and it's getting more unsettled. I'm just like, why the fuck are you letting the water in? It's like you're just carrying weights that way.
Just loud enough for me to hear it. You went, shut the fucking door. Like you're like, shut the door when you go into an unwet room.
Exactly. It's like, so no more water doesn't come in. You don't have that extra weight and it just turns over because it's hanging off the edge of the cliff, which, to be honest,
I don't know, man.
I guess maybe cold water is a little bit more tougher, like bottom sea level.
You know, the molecules are probably like bounded closer together because like that's what ice is. They're like, that's what makes it solid and stuff. Not a scientist, but that's what I was taught in like 8th grade or whatever the fuck. Like, so I don't know. I just think all of this is to say that a lot of this movie specifically, it felt more like almost 3 hours of fan service. We're gonna quote unquote wrap it up with callbacks
and old characters,
new characters of people from other pop culture that you like, and he's gonna actually save the entire world and just instead of just a part of the world. And people are gonna eat that shit up, so we can skimp on the actual plot and details of this movie, which is something that the Mission Impossible movies have not done before. All of the movies, even fucking 2, which sucks ass, and this movie's way better than 2. I'm not going back on that. Don't worry. At least everything made sense and like worked and put stuff forward without taking too long. And stuff like that.
But here's the thing, I would say this is probably my most when it probably pissed me off the last quarter act more than any of the movie, and it was the fact how Gabriel died. Like
that was brutal as fuck.
Very brutal. But like I was like, it made me angry just because I'm like, Ethan should have killed this guy. Yeah. Or the Asian chick should have killed this guy.
Paris should have absolutely she should have.
But he dies because like he's like, oh okay, I'm gone. I'll see you next time, Ethan, and he just like headbutts himself into the back rotor and then like splits his head in half.
That was Ethan's fault because he undid his belt and he couldn't he couldn't do it again. So Ethan did that. Like Ethan was the one that like unlocked him from like his seatbelt in the plane and then started making the plane turn and stuff because he's like, I'm gonna hold on to this shit way better than he is, so he'll probably go. But it was pretty random, brutal. Like, okay, he's just gone now. Where he just like he lets go because he has the parachute and he just like doinks and just like, okay, so he's dead.
The guy
like,
from laughed. It made me laugh.
Like he laughed and then you laughed, and so I said out loud what I was thinking. I was like, Jesus, it's like God damn, so that dude's just gone.
Like just fucked himself,
and that was crazy. And like that was a very like what's the word? What's the phrase? Unceremonious death for the human bad guy of what's supposed to be the end of the franchise.
Yes.
You know, like it's like should have felt a little more dramatic. Should have felt a little more like somebody is doing this and they're justified in doing it, rather than just happenstance he let go at the wrong time.
And
he
gets caught.
Yeah, and
Also,
I absolutely think I agree with you. Paris should have been the one to kill him.
Yes.
That was awesome. Because at the very beginning, she says they're like, "Oh, Ethan wants him alive," and she's like, "Well, I want him dead."
Yes, exactly. And then Ethan lets her like say, "Hey, yo, kill him," and then just can't.
Yeah, he's like, but then her gun is like she needs to reload her gun.
Yeah.
She's like, "Kill him now, kill him."
Another thing too about the airplane
so
scene that like kind of upset me. Not upset me. It was like, yo, okay, where'd that come from? But where does Ethan's parachute come from? I mean, I know it was in the seat, but hear me out.
I don't know.
Both planes were going upside down, side to side, back and forth multiple times. How does this parachute like just happen to stay in there?
Yep.
And they have an extra parachute for whatever fucking reason. Besides plot, I don't understand why.
Yeah.
But you have an extra plane there just to take care of that next person. I mean,
so there's two planes because Gabriel specifically says, "I want two planes," and so that other guy goes with him, and they're like, "Well, we can't let them have a plane," so they're separate.
both.
And then,
but there's still extra life jackets.
So
I guess you have to have both.
You have one for each seat.
So that way you have to have one for both. But
you have one. You have one for each. So there's 4 total because there's 2 seats per plane. So you have one for each seat. Because Ethan gets it from the front seat, not the driver's seat in the back. I'm again defending these weird little things that they didn't do a good job. I would say it probably makes sense in a plane like that it's like hooked in there pretty good, and when you put it on, once you get it strapped into you, it's easy to take out. Like there's like a couple other things you have to take off to get it on you. So I'll forgive him for that. But there's a lot of other more like important, like, well, why is this happening? That doesn't really make sense. Kind of a vibe in this movie. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say. I don't want to keep dogging on it because I did enjoy it.
I enjoyed it.
And I do think it's better than a lot.
I would say it's probably like below middle pack. I'll probably put it better than 4.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking.
A little bit better than 4.
Yeah.
As far as just like...
Give me your final, allegedly, Mission Impossible list, and I'll give you mine.
So...
Based on what we said last episode, a.k.a. 4 hours ago at this point.
3, still number 1. 6. 1, just because of, hey, started it all, and it is a great espionage movie. 7... I struggle with 4 and 5 to see which one I like more. I'm going to say 4 because I just love that Dubai scene a lot.
Yeah. It's a good scene.
Then 5. No, the 4. Actually, shit. 4, 7, 5, and then 2. Oh, and then 8. Oh, I got to put 8 there.
Yeah, 8. Where's 8?
Okay, let me start over. 3. 7. 1. 8. 4, 5. I skipped 6.
Did you mean? I was about to say. Did you mean to say 6 instead of 7 at number 2?
Okay, so sorry. One more time. Last time, guys. Last time. My third one is.
Here we go. This is
Mission Impossible 3.
Yes. Fallout. Number 6.
Yes, Fallout number 6. Yeah. Then 1.
Okay.
Then 7. 8. 4, and then 5. I mean 4, 5, then 2.
4, 5, 2.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's honestly not too far off from where I'm at now. I am now at 6 is number 1. Fallout's number 1. Then I'm gonna say last episode, wink. Last episode I said 7. Nope, not anymore. 6 Fallout. Then I'm gonna say no, that one's not gonna move up that much. Then I'm gonna say 1.
Okay.
Because
so I like 1 jumped 2 spots for you now.
Yeah, I like the. Well, no, that was my third one. That was
the third. So 1 moved.
No, it's 2.
Yes, it's 2.
So it went from 3 to 2 because I like the De Palma feel and everything, and it sets everything in motion. Then Rogue Nation, then 7, then Ghost Protocol, then 8, and then 2.
If you're at 3.
Oh, 3 is...
See, it's a lot when you're...
I know, it's so many. It's 8. 3 is right after Rogue Nation.
Okay.
So
it's 4.
So 6... Yeah, it's my 4th. So 6, 1, 5...
And 3.
3, 4... Wait, we're 7. No, 7... God damn, this is hard. 7... 4, and then 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait. I still feel like I missed one.
We'll release them.
I'll put it in the show notes, maybe. Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes or something. Yeah, but anyway, this one, the point being for me, I had it at 2. I had 7 at 2, and was hoping it'd be the Dune situation where I'm like, okay, so this is one of my favorites. But 8 was... Again, not a letdown, but disappointing. It was still an enjoyable movie, but it knocked 7 back because it was obviously 7 was a build up.
Yes,
but I think 7 was a better made movie. The plot holes were seemingly non-existent, and it just felt better. And everybody did things that made more sense than in this one. It also didn't waste any time. Like I feel like my biggest problem with 8 is we didn't get as many crazy, like, we're here, here's a crazy scene, we're here, there's a crazy scene. Like, 8 was like, it starts, we have our scenes, everything's fine, and then the one crazy scene is just the submarine, which was like the whole second act, and then the end of the movie. And then the third act, and everything's resolved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt like 3 hours of what a normal action thriller movie looks like.
Yes. I will say 3 has some of the best running again, dude.
Yes,
Tom
absolutely.
Cruise doing his running.
He ran good in this one.
The first scene, the first movie, like it's the first act where he's trying to get to Luther. Great running scene. And then when he's running in the field trying to catch Gabriel's plane, that's another great running scene.
He had some great running in this one.
I guarantee he got coached at some point of how to run. Yeah, how to run. Especially like in a suit too. I like here's the thing, running in like short shorts. I guess you can't see it, but I ain't got.
Okay,
my leg
don't
can't
hurt
get
yourself.
my leg, I ain't stretched. But running in like shorts is a whole different thing, or like tights, than running in in
joggers.
Yeah, a suit with a jacket.
A full blown suit with the jacket on. Yeah, it's gonna be fucking difficult.
Also, like, I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong. And probably not, because I guess I see it in like actual modern day media a lot too. Mm-hmm. Everybody wears suits all the fucking time. Like every agent and like
that's James Bond.
Yeah,
that's James Bond. Yeah, like, we've had James Bond movies since the 60s. So you're doing a spy movie. There's gonna be a scene where everybody involved needs to get really dressed up and do that scene, which every single one of these movies has.
Yes,
where it's like you have to infiltrate some bougie party, so you got to be in a suit. No matter what. So it is what it is.
Oh, we gotta wrap this up. We're at an hour.
I know.
But guys, I'm glad that we did this. I will say I hope this does not take us another 6 years or 5 years to do another.
Yeah, there's no way this is the end. We're gonna get something.
Well, I'm
else.
talking about just you mean doing another bad
podcast,
for sure. To be honest,
No.
it's been 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
I also will say that now I am the leader besides Jacob Babel on his podcast.
You've been in the most episodes.
I have 5 episodes
You've
now.
Been in the most episodes
to my name now.
Yeah. That's 100% true. And we're gonna be back. Actually, you're gonna be back very soon because we got to talk about. We're gonna do one of the Fantastic Four movies like in the next month when that one comes out. We were gonna do that. Like we had planned to do that, and then you were like, "Let's do this Mission Impossible thing," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, we'll do this." So so you'll be back right before the new which has the White Widow in it. So got Vanessa Kirby in it. So
all the same thing. Dude. Yeah. Also, pissed didn't see her in this movie at all either, too.
Yeah, like she ended last time we saw her, she was like drugged, and Kittredge was taking care of her.
I guess there was nothing to be brokered.
I guess, but then Kittredge was like, there was the whole thing with like Kittredge being like. One last thing. Kittredge was like, oh, like, because she's like pretending to, Grace is pretending to be her, and she's like, oh, like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you're being weird and stuff. It's like, I only deal with you this way because of, like, the deal your mom and us had. And it's like, okay, so here's a bunch of stuff. And she's just not even in this movie at all. Like, I don't know. They missed the mark on this one, but it was still better than 2 and an enjoyable movie.
Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
But bye, guys.
Watch all the Mission Impossible movies. They're all worth watching, especially 2, because then they'll never get worse than that. We did it.
Have fun, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.